Hi there. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our live Friday question and answer class, where you can ask your questions regarding American accent training, American English pronunciation, or anything else you'd like to know to help improve your personal and professional communication in American English. We've been looking at all of the sounds of English in our American Sounds Challenge, and we'll be resuming those American Sounds Challenge classes next week. I would like to point out today, in today's class, I'll be answering your questions, and I'll also be showing you many free resources for how to answer questions you may have about pronunciation. So these classes are free and you can watch them live. A good way to do that is to subscribe to the channel and click on the notifications bell. And then that way YouTube will let you know every time I'm live or when I upload a new video for you. If you're watching this as a later broadcast in the playlist, or if it's not live, you can ask your questions as well by putting them in the comments. I do always go back and read those comments and give people information where they can find the answer to their question. Many times I already have a video or a resource with the answer, but if I don't, I might make you a video specifically to answer your question. The questions I get really help me know what is going to help you the most in improving your accent. Hello, nice to see you from Kazakhstan and Iraq. Welcome, everyone. We do have viewers from all around the world. And if you're new to speech modification, I am located in Seattle. That's on the West Coast. And I do have free workshops and classes in this area, as well as group classes that you can join. And the next round of those will be starting in a few weeks. So you can check out my website, speechmodification.com, for more information. So let's talk about some resources. How can you get answers to your questions? What are you looking for? So for the first thing I want to talk about is perhaps you have a particular word that you struggle with pronouncing. You want to know how to correctly pronounce a word. Maybe you have trouble with it. Maybe you're not sure if you're doing it right or not. Or maybe you're just noticing that Americans seem to say this word differently than you say it or than you expect it to be said. So some great resources for finding out how to pronounce a word are to use the search tools on my website, speechmodification.com, and on my channel page, Speech Modification Seattle. So if you're on the website, you can go to speechmodification.com, and what you'll find is when you're on the homepage of speechmodification.com, a really good starting point here is our free practice materials. So go to free practice and check out online practice free trial. And once you're there, you'll see that there's a search box where you can type in your word. So say, for example, you struggle with pronouncing the word girl. That's a difficult word for many people to pronounce because of the R and the L sounds. And when I've typed in girl in the search box, it'll show me all of the lessons related to how to pronounce girl. So let's just click on this one that says how to pronounce girl. And I'll find that I have a video explaining it, some text to tell me about it, and then additional videos that are related. So for girl, many people struggle with the R sound in that word. And so here's a video that it links to where you can learn more about pronouncing American R. Also, then people struggle with the L sound in the word girl. So there's a link for more information about pronouncing L. So that's a great way if you're looking for a particular word to know how to pronounce it, if you'd like a little additional help. Of course, I also recommend using online dictionaries for pronunciation, but sometimes you need a little bit more details about why it's hard, what's different. There are certain words that Americans will pronounce somewhat differently than what it says in the dictionary when they're talking in fluent speech. For example, the word to, T-O, in the dictionary, it'll say that it's pronounced to, and that's correct. But when I'm talking in fluent speech, I don't say I'm going to go to the meeting. I don't use this pronunciation to. I say I'm going to go to the meeting. I'm going to go to the meeting. So if I look in the dictionary and I see to, I listen to it, I hear to, that doesn't tell me what Americans are actually going to do. They're going to say to instead of to in fluent speech. So looking for particular words, patterns, phrases, using the search tools on the website and on speechmodification.com and on the channel page. You can type in any word, see if I already have a video for you or what resources are there. We have a question about explaining seem, sound, and due to. So seem, an example of using the word seem would be, it seems to be good, it seems to me. I seem to have misplaced. Sound, we would use more like it sounds like this, which we use for meaning as well as for actually literally how something sounds. And due to means because of or due to. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit. I would say that for those words, you might want to use the online dictionary and look for sample sentences. Frequently, if you look up a word, it'll tell you the meaning of the word and then several examples of how to use it. And often that's a really useful tool for understanding how you can begin to use that word in your speech. So, yes, so let's look at some other resources. So yes, now we know a little bit about if I have a word that I need help saying, what I'm going to do. And what about if I have a sound that I found difficult? So we were talking about the word girl, and that many people will struggle with the R sound and the L sound. And so again, you can use the search tool on speechmodification.com. And then I also recommend going to my channel page on YouTube. So let's go there and take a look at that. So when I'm on YouTube, I can go and use my American accent page. Sorry, that's opening an ad. So when I'm on speech modification on the channel page, I can take a look at playlists for American accent. And so again, I can use the search tools and type in my sound or my word or my question, but I can also look here at this convenient playlists and say, okay, I'm going to look for American R sounds. This is a full playlist going from the most basic videos about American R to more complex videos. And so it'll walk me through the steps and I can find the answers for different levels of pronunciation for the sound. Again, also American TH sound is there, American vowels, and all of the sounds of American English. So this is a great way if I'm looking for, I know I struggle with pronouncing a certain sound, where I can find resources for that. Then, for example, perhaps you're looking for overall patterns in your speech and how to correct those. And a good place to go for that is to look at what patterns do you have based on your native language. So I often talk in class about how when we learn our first language, we learn a sound system that goes with that language. And then that sound system acts as a filter on our hearing and our pronunciation in other languages. So we may not always be hearing the sounds correctly when listening to American English, and we certainly aren't always producing them correctly. So you'll find that it's helpful to know which sounds and patterns you have in your speech from your native language. And so I've done the research for you so that you don't have to guess, and you can go to back to speechmodification.com, go to my store page. And once you're in the store page, you'll see that there are many free downloads for you. And so when I'm in the free downloads, I can look at the overviews of accent based on my native language and determine, okay, if I'm an Arabic speaker, I'm going to have difficulty with the p, t, and k sounds at the beginnings of words, with the R sound, with certain vowels, etc. I can look for my language and get more information about the patterns, the overall patterns in my speech. Robbie has a question. Does all your videos here in YouTube? So most of my video content is available for free on YouTube as well as on speechmodification.com. So either place that you're searching, you'll find that information. Some of my online courses are just on my website, speechmodification.com, and there are some videos there that aren't available on YouTube that are for my course subscribers, and we'll talk about the online courses in just a minute. Thank you, that's a great question. Shweta wants to know, when do you use oh man or oh boy? So you could use either of those interchangeably, and it's basically just an exclamation of wow, or my goodness, or oh my, just another way of saying something has happened that I want to exclaim about. Bahram wants to know how to find a native partner to practice speaking English. Well, depending on where you're located, you may want to use the internet to help you with that. And if you go on my blog page on speechmodification.com, go to the blog, and you can look for online resources. So that's the link for online resources. And I have some websites that are available there for you that talk about how to find speaking partners. So I'm going to just go until I find that link for you to show you. I don't have that capability on my website. I'm more focused on American accent training, but I know that speaking practice is very useful for people, and so I like to share these resources. And there are many sites out there that are for people looking to practice English with other speakers. If you are here in the Seattle area by any chance, you can look at the ELA website, English Language Learners Alliance. They recently posted some volunteers, American volunteers, who are looking to be conversation partners for other speakers. So hopefully that'll be useful for you. Having a little moment where this isn't loading. Okay, so improving your learning, online resources for online learning, and we have some resources for conversation practice. So that's what you're going to want to look for. You could type in conversation in the search tools. And just here's some examples. There's Conversation Exchange. There's a website called italki. There's one called coffee.com. So you could also just use a Google search and type in English speaking partner practice, and maybe you'll find some of those websites as well. Robbie's asking for a link in the chat for my site. So I'm going to type that in for you. It's speechmodification.com. So the word speech and then modification and .com. And that will take you to my website where you can find these resources I'm sharing. Thank you for asking that. That was a good suggestion. I'm a little behind on your questions, so be patient. I'm going to go through the chat and I'll read them all for you. So another question is how to acquire fast speaking like a native speaker. So in terms of speaking quickly and being able to increase how fluently you're speaking, you really get the best improvement with that if you do a lot of speaking. So one of the things I suggest is if you don't have people to practice with, find some people to practice with. And if you are struggling with that because of your location or it's difficult to find, do a lot of speaking out loud. You can simply speak in English, speak your thoughts, process, think about what you're going to say. And the more you speak, the more fluent you'll become because you've had more and more practice to do it. If you think about speech, we have to think of what to say, the vocabulary, the grammar, the English, and that's a big demand on your brain. And so the more you practice doing those things, the more easily, quickly, and fluently that you can speak. You can also use American media, television, movies, and you can listen to Americans speaking, especially in conversation. I read recently there's research that if you turn on the subtitles, the American English subtitles, and read along as you're listening, That helps improve your fluency as well. And you can listen and repeat. So if you're watching something that you can pause, listen to a little bit, pause it, and then repeat what you heard. And you can try to get that sound, that fluency, and that speed that you're hearing in the American English. Be patient with yourself. If you speak a little bit more slowly, it's all right. You will begin to become more fluent. If you're looking at how to have that American sound, what's different with American speech versus non-native speakers, I suggest my Real Talk playlist. And you can find that on the channel page. If you look here under the playlists and you go until you find Real Talk, that's will show you many examples of how the written words are different than spoken speech. And that's a big part of fluency as well. This is how Americans tend to be actually speaking and how we speak quickly and fluently. So those videos will be very helpful for you. You can also find more details on how to use the Real Talk techniques on my website on my courses page. So if you're at the top menu, go to the courses. And what you'll like for that course is our Real Talk course. And that course will show you, and it's an advanced course for getting more fluency when speaking American English. So it walks you through how Americans really talk. So you can check that out. All of the online courses have a free trial. So you can try it out, see if that online learning video style works for you. Great, so thank you for the questions. So another question was, without speaking it, is it impossible to be fluent? I do think that the more you speak, the more fluency you can gain. It's not impossible, but if you don't have practice with the actual physical aspect of speaking, then gaining fluency will be very challenging. Another question from Shweta, which is how to pronounce baby. So the word baby has two B sounds, and then it has vowel A, which in American English is a long vowel A, two sounds, and then vowel E, baby. So if I was going to write it with kind of more traditional spelling, it would look like that, baby. And the stress is on the first syllable and the second syllable is short and reduced, baby. Good question, thank you. If you have other questions about how to pronounce words or any of the resources I've shown you so far in today's class, feel free to ask them at any time. So we've been talking about if I have a sound that I struggle with, a word that I struggle with, if I need to know more about my accent patterns, how to change those. We've looked at resources for all of those things. And for many of you, you know how to find the answers to those specific questions, but what you might be missing is how to put it all together, how to really make a change in your speech, what to do first, what's a priority, how to practice. This can be very challenging because there are so many resources out there that are available. There's so much information. It's hard to know what applies to me, how to begin, and how to make those changes you're really looking to make. And what I recommend for that is coming to these classes because I'll walk you through. And then some of my playlists that are called different challenge playlists are going to walk you through the steps and give you some in-depth help. So let's look at which playlists can help you for that. So if I'm on Speech Modification's YouTube page, I'll look here at the Smart American Accent Training Series. So you can do the 30-day accent challenge. That was a really helpful one, which we did live a couple of years ago, and we walked through lots of different steps for changing your speech. If you're an Indian English speaker, there's a playlist for you for pronunciation, same for Spanish speakers. And then you might also like my 5x5 challenge videos. That's a quick 5 minutes a day series that you can go through to improve your speech. It helps you step through those elements. The Say This, Not That series just looks at specific words that commonly people have errors on. So those videos are very short, 30 seconds to 1 minute. So you can look at one of those a day and learn a word that you might be mispronouncing. For example, many people mispronounce the word says. They tend to say it more as says or says. So it tells you what errors you're making, how to correct those, and how to change your speech. I really like those for people who don't have a lot of time but want to make a lot of improvement. And then our current challenge is the American Sound Series Challenge. And in that one, we're going through each sound in American English one at a time, talking about error patterns, talking about the most common words with each of those sounds and how to correct your speech for those. So those are some great playlists for overall change, working on step-by-step systematically improving your accent. And if you find those useful, I think you'll also really like my online courses, which I was showing you the Real Talk course. And for your overall learning, I would suggest starting with my American Accent 6-week course. This course is great for the fundamentals of accent, and it's really helpful for getting a handle on all of the information that's out there. So we talked about there's so much to know. There's so much information. It's hard to know where to begin, what to do first. This course is going to walk you through those steps. It's going to say, do this because of this reason. This is how to do it, how to practice. Each week, you'll get new videos and lessons. And that course is free for the first 2 weeks and then only $5 a month for a subscription after that. It really can walk you through and help you make those changes in your speech, understand your accent patterns, and understand how to use smart American accent training to improve. So I highly suggest checking that out. It's free to check it out, so give it a try, and I hope you'll like that. One more question. There's more questions, but I see a question. What does "Hey, check this out" mean? Hey, check this out means take a look at this, or give your attention here. Here's something interesting that I want you to see and know about. Robbie is asking about a mobile program called Cambly, and I don't know that program, so I'll have to check it out and get back to you on that because I'm not familiar with it. So I can't recommend it or not recommend it. Robbie has another question. Bus, boss, but, and but. So bus, boss, but, and but. So bus is vowel schwa and an S, and boss is vowel ah and an S. So the difference there is an sound, like bus, and an sound, boss. The main difference between bus and boss is that with boss, I have lip rounding. And then but is also vowel schwa with a T. So it sounds like this, and these two have the exact same pronunciation. So there's no difference whether I have one T or two T's. They're both but with vowel schwa. Good question. So sometimes similar words can be challenging to know what's different. Learning about American English vowels is very helpful, using my vowel playlist and also using the sound series to learn how spelling works versus how vowel sounds work. I think for many people, they see the spelled letter and they think that's going to help them know what sound is in the word. And often in English, it doesn't help us. It kind of hurts us because our spelling rules aren't consistent. They are hard to learn. And so learning about the sounds and the symbols for the sounds helps you use online dictionaries to know pronunciation, and also learning about vowels in general is very useful for most people because many people have accent errors on vowel sounds. So great question. Thank you for that. Okay, so really nice questions today. I hope that this class has helped you know a little bit more about how to get started. Those of you who are watching are obviously hoping to make improvements in your pronunciation and understand American English better. And I'd like to share many free resources with you for doing that. So make sure that you check out speechmodification.com. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you can do that, and you'll be notified when I upload new videos for you and when I have my live classes. We'll be back again next Friday at the same time with another American Accent question and answer class, so you can come to that with your questions. And if you're watching not live, you can always put your questions in the comments on this video or any of my videos, and I will get back to you with an answer. So thank you for being a part of class today. Remember, if you want to sound American, you can do it. Speechmodification.com.